Hello everyone, it's Foo here, and the Teal Mask DLC released, bringing with it a ton of new toys to play around with in the game, which are all very exciting. But I'm not going to talk about some of the new Pokemon in this video, because there were some unexpected ability buffs in the Teal Mask DLC for some returning Pokemon that I just did not see coming at all, and I'm very pleasantly surprised by these, so let's go through them. The first one is that Shiftry has changed its early bird ability to be Wind Rider. Now previously, Shiftry only really used its Chlorophyll ability in competitive Pokemon, giving it a speed boost in Sun. This was great, it could turn it into a bit of a Sun Sweeper or a utility Pokemon as well, because it does have Fake Out. It didn't really use its other abilities. Early Bird, waking up early, isn't great for Shiftry because being a grass type, it's already immune to Sleep Powder and Spore, and there aren't too many other sleep-inducing attacks out there, so it was very limited use. So removing that and changing it to Wind Rider is pretty fantastic. Wind Rider is Brambleghast's signature ability, or at least it was its signature ability, now Shiftry gets it too. What this does is it gives Shiftry immunity to wind-based moves, and it gains an attack boost if it's hit by one of those wind-based moves, or if it's in Tailwind, which is really nice because Shiftry has a decent attack stat, some great moves to use on the physical side, like Knock Off, Sucker Punch, Leaf Blade, so giving it that attack boost means it's just a bit more potent offensively, but also having the immunity to these wind-based moves is huge for Shiftry, so it's things like common attacks like Heat Wave, Icy Wind, things like Blizzard and Hurricane, all of which Shiftry would have been weak to before. Now it's immune to those moves, which is really, really great, and it'll get an attack boost if it's hit by one. Oh, also Bleak Wind Storm from Tornadus. How could I forget that? That's everywhere in VGC at the moment. So that is such a great buff for Shiftry. What's also great for Shiftry, unlike Brambleghast, is that Shiftry itself learns Tailwind, so it can set up its own Tailwind to get that attack boost from Wind Rider and also get the speed boost, which is pretty nice. Although I would say maybe that's more of a singles tech, because in doubles, Prankster Tailwind is far more useful because of the dynamic speed. Giving your partner the fastest possible Tailwind is more important, and Shiftry isn't that fast to begin with. What Shiftry is good at doing is going for Fake Out while its partner goes for Tailwind, meaning that you've got much more reliable Tailwind setup while also setting up Shiftry to be a potent offensive threat. So I really, really like this duo of Tornadus and Shiftry. I think that it's a really fun one to try out. I don't think it's going to be like game-breaking or completely viable, but I do think it gives Shiftry another playstyle. So it's not just a Sun Sweeper, but it can also be this like Tailwind Sweeper too, which is really, really cool. I am so happy for this Shiftry buff. And the second ability buff that I want to talk about today is for Empoleon. Now, Empoleon's kept its Torrent ability like all of the other water starters, but its hidden ability, which was Defiant, has been changed to Competitive, which makes a lot of sense. So Defiant boosts your attack stat by 2 stages if any of your stats are dropped. But Empoleon doesn't have a great attack stat. It's much more of a special attacker. It's got a decent special attack stat. And basically Competitive is the special version of Defiant. So that's really great. And these abilities can be activated in both singles and doubles. So I think this buff has consequences in any format that you might play with Empoleon, because in singles, there's a lot of defog flying around, which reduces your evasion, but that would increase your special attack by 2 stages because of Competitive. So, and that's really good for a Stealth Rock or Hazard user like Empoleon. It can set up Stealth Rocks, force the opponents to defog, and then get that competitive boost to make it an offensive threat. In VGC, obviously Intimidate is the big one that flies around quite a lot, and that can give Empoleon +2 in special attack too, as well as things like Icy Wind or ways to reduce stats in other ways. All of these make it a much more potent offensive threat. Also, Empoleon newly gets access to Roost, so you can build your Empoleon really bulky and keep it around for a long time because it has that self-sustain now. Unfortunately, it didn't get access to Scold, which is another TM in the Teal Mask DLC, and so it does have competition between the two competitive Pokemon with Milotic. So there's fierce competition there because they're so competitive. Milotic gets Scold, Empoleon doesn't, but they each have kind of a niche because Empoleon does have that Steel typing, access to Stealth Rock, Steel typing is kind of a double-edged sword because it has a much better matchup into Fluttermane, the most common Pokemon in the VGC meta, but it also then gains a weakness to a number of typings like Fighting and Ground, which are relatively common, so you need to watch out for that if you are running Empoleon. But all in all, competitive is just a flat-out good buff for Empoleon, along with some of the moveset changes. It's looking really, really good, and I can't wait to use this Pokemon. So I just wanted to make this quick video to let you know of these two changes so that you can start planning your team building, putting some ideas together. I think both of these Pokemon are looking better than ever. That's going to be all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more Teal Mask DLC coverage. All that's left to be said is I've been Foo, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.